is Saturday, August 6th, 2022. It is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here for live sew and chat, which is 2 hours. And on Wednesdays, I also have live chat for 1 hour. In addition, if you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell so you'll be notified whenever I go live and or decide to edit another video and upload it. I do have lots of video footage. Haven't had time to do any editing. But I'm also have a Facebook group as well. Post over there a little bit. It's Teaquilts LLC. There are 3 questions you need to answer so you can join the group. So don't forget to do that when you request to join. So hopefully everybody is having a great week and an even better weekend, since a lot of us don't have to work on the weekend. I know there are a lot of people that do have to work, but welcome everybody. We're going to be working on miscellaneous stuff today. I think I got some squares here I want to sew into a bag. I also have my knot today that I still need to be sewing on. I also have a project bag that I need to put binding on. So I've got like a few little miscellaneous projects here that I'm hoping to work on. And if I don't get any of it done, that's fine too. Just trying to move something so this board quits sliding on me. So let's see. It's still sliding, okay? Let's see who is here today. We've got Delia Short is here. I'm just going to read names today. Brenda Foley, Deborah Quilts, Teresa McCormick, Bev Dixon, Beverly Akins, June Hansen, Tiffany's Quilting Life, Tiffany of Tiffany's Quilting Life, Jakara from Brazil, and Bonita Nance, Remo JS, and Shirley Peters, Melissa LePage, Cynthia Washington, and Lana. Hello, Lana. Welcome to the channel. I don't remember your name. And Margaret Dearden. And I did email you back, Margaret, as well, just so you know. We were communicating. I think maybe my mail might have went to your spam. Wash Your Hands is here. The Quilting Lady Fabric and Quilting Store. Sheila Willis. Carrie Richard. Pearl Medina. I'm just trying to get to the bottom as quick as I can since I had to restart my beginning. Cheryl Randall. And Sandy Agger. Janice Miller, Kathleen Champ, Diane 57, and thank you, Tiffany. I'll pin that comment up there. Thank you so much. And Mona did what? Hello and welcome as well to the channel, Mona. Jason Lewis. Francis Jackson, and oh, okay, so Lana, she says, I say that every time. I don't know why I won't remember then. I just see Lana, and I'm like, I don't think I remember seeing that. And then she's like, you say that every time. All right. My squares are coming off my board, but that's all right. Okay. All right, because I didn't see the response. So thank you, Margaret. And Maddie is here, Maddie Barnum. Thank you, Diane, reminding people to also hit the thumbs up. And I've seen them up above as well, so thank you guys as well. Oh, Jason spent all day shop hopping today. It was a blast. Now, that's awesome. I want to know where you went now. I know I can go to the same stores you go to. I don't have any fan on at all. Y'all know that's not gonna work. I was in here standing on my desk and had to cut my fan off. So then I forgot to cut it back on. That was yesterday, I think. Craft with Love is here. And KD's Craft says, hello everyone, stepping by for a quick minute. Let's see. And I think that's it. So, trying to think, what am I going to be working on? I'm already hot. That's why I remember the fan wasn't on. It's kind of too late at that point. Oh, Quincy, Jacksonville, Rochester, and Springfield, Illinois. Oh, you're doing the Illinois shop hop. I didn't do it this year. We did it. We must have done it 2 years ago. I don't think we did it last year because we did the Iowa shop hop. Betsy is here saying hello all. And Joe Carmel's here. Say, yay, I made it. Hey, Teaquilters. I'm thirsty already because I'm hot. All right, let's cut this machine on. And then I need another light on here just because it's not a lot. So basically, I have a charm pack of African prints, and they can go from animal prints to geometric designs to landscape. So I'm just sewing 12 of these together, and I think I'm gonna, a total of 24, because I'm gonna do a row, 3 rows with 4 blocks in each row, and then I'll need it for the other side, unless I do a plain fabric backing, and then I can spread my squares out, right? That's a thought too. But yeah, so I'm going to be sewing those first, just getting those sewed together so I can get them off of the board that they're falling off of, and the board keeps sliding into my workspace. So yes. Pieces, Love, and Quilting is here. Welcome as well. I think that's Courtney. And Vivian Calvi just came in. So yeah, so basically I got to sit in my chair straight first. I got everything. I've been trying to like go through some of the stuff that's in this room instead of moving it into the next room. I've been trying to sort while I'm cleaning out my other area where I've been cutting African fabrics and stuff. And I've been cutting, I got the 4-star general fabrics all messed up in that. So I got a mess. So I'm trying to clean up some of the stuff in here as I'm putting up some of that stuff, because some of it goes in the same place before I start stacking stuff on top of each other, and then I got to unstack to put the stuff up in here. So I'm kind of doing 2-level sorting at this point. So nothing is done. But I feel better about the stuff that's put up, okay? So you got to start somewhere. Thank you, Remo, for reminding people to hit the thumbs up. Patsy Johnson is here. Hey, Patsy, welcome. Joe Carmel is asking, how am I liking my brother? It's doing really good. I think I still got to I never did stop and do the fine tuning on that tension once I messed it up by changing that bobbin. So I still need to get that bobbin back into that sweep position. So I have that, but other than that, it's sewing fine. I just, what I do is, since I know it's not correct on its own, I change it when I'm stitching. I change my tension at the top when I'm stitching 2 pieces of thread over when I'm stitching thick stuff. And I got to get it back to where I don't have to change it depending on the fabric. Right now I am using a size 14 needle just because I don't feel like changing it, because I'm going to be just sewing 2 pieces of fabric. I should be using 11 or 12. But I don't feel like changing that out because I'm going to be right back to stitching on thick stuff soon. So that's what it is. But basically, these squares are not in any major particular order. I do have them in an order, and I think I've knocked this foot off. Got this, and then my board's gonna fall, so I just need to quit while I'm ahead. I need to get these squares off my board. I do have them laid out, but you know, it's a bag. It doesn't take rocket science to stitch a bag, right? Let's see, who else is here? Liz Wilson, Stephanie Lee. Says, speaking of which, where's Ray? I have no idea. He could be out in his yard. My brother loves to to be busy, likes busy work. He can't sit down and do nothing. So he might be in his yard in the summertime. He's always doing stuff and until it gets dark. Maybe I put oil on this 2 days ago. It sounds awfully loud. Pair of snips. So Terry says, I have no sound. French Seams is here. Or are you sewing back like the ones on your table? This one's gonna be a tote bag. I'm using charm squares for this one. And I don't know if these are directional. They don't look like they're directional prints yet. So we'll just keep sewing until I get to an animal. Okay. Thanks everybody about the sound. Lana says she can't sit and do nothing either. When I'm so busy, like when I'm doing all of this stuff and going through all these boxes and bags, because I got to touch everything in it. And after I do about 7 or 8 of those, I'll be like, I got to go sit down. I go take me a break. My husband like, I thought she was working. He's like, I'm tired. I need a break. Otherwise, I feel like trying to make sure this one's got animals on it. Trying to make sure I survive this cleaning session that I'm doing. Trying to not just my main goal is just trying not to just throw stuff into the room. That's my main thing. At least if I'm throwing it into the room, which is where it's going in the end, my little storage room. At least light things are together. All the fabric are together. All the patterns are together. I put up the African fabrics because I can't afford to lose those. So, yeah, there are just certain things I was trying to make sure I put up. Or at least put together. I put the fabrics up. So, yeah. So this is just simple sewing here. I pulled this stuff out when I shouldn't have pulled it out. One of those things. I I was like, I bet that'll make a cute bag. And they were just sitting right here. I knew they were here. They've been there for a couple years. And then today I just decided today was the day I was going to pull them out. So since I got this other board up here, I am just going to press with my wood iron so I can sew these rows together. Like I said, these are just squares going to be turned into a bag. No big deal. I hate long strings. My first starting string. Can't stand to look at them. And Diane says she sews with a size 14 needle all the time. It just depends on if I have a very thin cotton. Sometimes it acts like it wants to pull it off to the side sometimes. It just depends on the level of the cotton, I guess. And I've been sewing with, like when I was sewing the ones with the scrappy squares. This one's mine. This one is my bag. I got somebody trying to buy this one. I'm like, this is my bag. I got the pink that's on this bag for my little strips here. That's how I know it's mine. And they want a bag with the squares. And asking me, have you made that bag yet? Are you selling bags yet? Like, nope, not yet. I sometimes get bored with stuff and then I'll jump and do something else. Even though it's the same topic, I just get tired of, I get tired of sewing the 2.5-inch squares. But I do need to make a couple of bags for people that are asking for them. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut this just so I can sew these rows together without pulling anything off that board. Okay. And then this one, put it on the bottom. Also, don't forget that August 23rd is Eric Oda's birthday. I don't know if he has a P.O. box or not, but y'all could send him birthday cards too. Let me know. Does Eric advertise a P.O. box or anything like that? Patty says, I have the same brother machine for about 8 years. You'll fall in love with it the more and more each day. And I don't plan to sew on it every day. I do plan to bring my Bernina back over. But I thought that since I have it here and I'm trying to, do a true review on it, I'm trying to sew on it for a period of time. I did buy it just to do bag making because I have burned out 2 other computerized sewing machines making bags and sewing thick stuff, and the tension is so bad I can't get it to, it'll do 2 seams, but if I start doing like where a lot of half square triangles are meeting, like in a 4-patch, it won't go over those seams. So I will never do that again. I said I'm not doing all that thick stuff on a machine that costs over $5,000. So gotta touch everything, Miss T, because it's like Christmas all over again when you find it. Exactly. And it's like when I've come across stuff, it's like, I don't forgot I had that. And it's like, look, put that in a box. Now I have kept out the stuff that I'm gonna do for Boho Hearts. I don't want to put that up because then I'll have to be figuring out what I did with it if I put it in a, a generic fabric box. So I'm going to make a container for that because it's going to take a lot of different fabrics for that. Yeah, it's a lot. Oops. I wasn't paying attention. I think sometimes, sorry about hitting the mic. I think sometimes when I cut the thread while I'm still stitching, like the machine hasn't stopped, and I think that's the only thing I can think that I'm doing when it becomes unthreaded. like that. So it's like you got to learn, you know, I'm so used to doing that with my computerized machines. So, but not with the manual. It's got to do its complete stop before you do something else. All right, so 12 of my squares are done. And I need to do the 12 that's on the board now. And I can always press later. Stephanie of Memoirs of a Longworm Quilter is here. Leetta Bryant came in as well. Thank you, Tiffany, reminding people to give a thumbs up and doing an overall welcome. I have stuff stored in almost every room except kitchen and my daughter's room. And that's exactly how I am at this point. Okay. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Just totally ridiculous. Got more stuff than I can use in a lifetime. And I'm looking at stuff like, you can get that stuff away. And I got stuff that I had pulled aside to cut kits and stuff with that I've never cut. It's a lot because I had pulled fabric out to do Take 5 kits that were not African themed fabrics, but I never did cut it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Whoops. It does depend on the fabric, Liz. I finished making a rag rug placemat last night. I'm about 1/2 way through making a second band on my inkle loom now, so that's cool. Thank you, Darcy, saying give people a thumbs up. At my mom's house with poor delayed reception, and I'll be listening though. That's Joe Carmel. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. This one up here needs a third one. Okay, so Melissa says he does have a drop down in his for his P.O. box. So good, because I didn't know if Eric had actually set that up. So make sure you send him a birthday card. His birthday is August 23rd. So thank you, Melissa. Got 2 more to put on here. I thought this thing said 30, maybe it said 35 squares. Because I got another set of squares in the bag, but I don't think it's 12 of them. I think that's why I put them in a bag. Maybe it's 35 squares. Yeah, it's 35 because I needed one more to do another set. And I have no idea what this fabric is to even know which way to rotate it. All right. Let's do these 2 top rows together. Jason was looking for boho fabrics but got sidetracked. It's easy. I haven't done the schedule yet for Boho Hearts, but I'm going to try to make it go 6 months instead of for a whole year. So when we start that, you all make sure you got all of your stuff done so you can be ready to go, because we're going to be doing 2 assignments a month. And of course, that assignment's going to be more than 1 block because you got quite a few to do. So make sure you get all your stuff done. Get your Christmas stuff done. Any projects you need to get done for early next year. Okay, Diane was going to check it out, but Melissa LePage answered the question, so thank you, Diane. I knew somebody in here would know. I know his home address, so I send stuff to there, so I don't know about that. Jackie K says, hello, a little late, not sewing tonight. I sandwiched 4 items today, getting them ready for quilting. That's us. That's a process. It's part of quilt making, so you're successful. We miss having you here, Jackie. Hopefully things are okay with you. And Jackie is out of Canada. Guess who Nancy is here? Oh, she says she can't find his address now. Ain't that something? Campbell's Creation Learning to Quilt is here. Susie K says, hi, everyone. I was at a sew today with friends today and stayed longer than I should have. Hey, you'd never stay longer than you should have when you're sewing. All right. Now, yeah, it makes a difference if I make sure the machine stops before I cut. All right, this one needs to be pressed so it can be added to the bottom. Got Sue here saying, hello, Queen of Retreats and all Teaquilters on vacation at our cabin. Have fun, Sue. Liz says, it is ridiculous. First, second floor, attic, and basement. I am starting to give away fabric and patterns. That's a job in itself. Exactly. I even got rid of a storage container that was getting on my nerves. I had a 3-drawer container, and 2 of the drawers are fine, but you know, like some of those plastic containers, if you sit something on top of it, it makes it so that you have to work to get the first drawer out. And I think I had to open it one time too many, because I took it and put it in I set it outside. It actually got rained on and everything. I thought maybe I might give it to somebody, or, you know, because it looks fine until you go pull that first drawer out. And then it rained on it. I took it and tossed it in the garage. But I think next trash day, I'm just going to put that thing in the trash. It's a pain in the butt. All right. So this is just one set of squares. I got the prettier squares are still in the bag. So this is one set of 12 that's gotten done. And I guess I'm going to be breaking thread anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then this is, yeah, I was trying to see if there was a top. There's a horse on this one. This is the other 12, and then I've got 11 in there that I really, really like, just in case. You know how we do. So the fabrics are really pretty, and like I said, I even kept the prettiest fabrics out. Well, in my opinion, anyway. So that's pretty cool. Darcy says, come on, came in a little late. Also, our dishwasher pooped out, and we have been putting a new one in, so that's good. At least you're able to do it yourself. Sue says, getting fabric cut with AccuQuilt Pineapple Glorified 9-patch and log cabin. That's good that you used that time to cut majority projects, so that's pretty cool. Lana says, I want to make a purse out of woven bands sewn together. I think it would be pretty. Yes, I have made a sewing machine cover where I use some of my sister's old denim. I used a white denim and a blue denim, and I wove them and made that for my outside of my sewing machine cover case, something to remember her by. Oh yeah, the Eric Oda Fabric Foundation. Yeah. That's Melissa. I am sewing my blocks together from the GE Designs Kimberly Quilt Alone from last Sunday. Yeah, I saw that one and it was just a little bit too simple for me, so I didn't do that one. Tiffany is going to see if she can find Eric's information. I have no idea how old Eric is going to be. I've never asked his age. Do you have any wood iron sets in purple? I might have one or two in purple. I'm not sure, Bonita. I might have one in purple. I don't think I'm out of stock of anything that I recall, unless they've been bought recently and I forgot to mark them, which could have happened. But I think I have sets in all designs that are on my website. Jason says he likes 6 months. Me too. I think we're talking about 6 months for a sew along. I think even though, the stuff was originally set up to be like block of the month type stuff, a year is too long for me. I lose interest, and that's kind of what happened with the 4-star general. I was all gun-ho, started the second one, and instead of starting that second one, I should have finished the first one, okay? So my second one, I only did 6 months, and then I got tired of it. And then after that, it was like I need to just do what I need to do to stay caught up. So I've only been working on that one quilt. So that red, white, gray, and black one, it's only 6 months. And I only had planned to do 9 months because the blocks were so big anyway. So I still need to do at least 3 more months of blocks on that. Will you be doing boho sewing on Wednesday lives? No, it'll still probably be a Saturday live on the 3rd Saturday of the month. I'm just not sure if it's going to be live with Kevin or not. Okay, so Diane saying also that they don't. So Tiffany doesn't think that Eric has a P.O. box either. Okay. So I'll contact Eric and see what he says. If anybody, what's today? The 6th. If you're going to send it within the next week, you can send it to me and I'll forward that information. I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to put it in a larger package and forward whatever I get. So if you mail between now and next week would be what? Today is the 6th, the 13th. So that gives me the next week to get it to him and make sure he gets it before his birthday. But you can do that as well, just in case. I do have information to mail to Eric. I think it would be a great surprise for him. Thank goodness for AccuQuilt cutter for the boho sew along. That will help with the 6 months. The blocks are, I can't remember what's the largest size. I want to say like 10 inches, maybe down to 2 inches. So, and 2 inches could just be a square and a square. It could be a 4-patch. It could be just a square fabric. So you can make it as easy or as hard as you like. Because I know she's got an owl on there, and I'm not putting the owl on mine. So I do know that. Dee Dee here from Michigan. Welcome. Joe Carmel. They're going to eventually end up being bags. They're going to be a tote bag. Okay, Benita. And Jason says, I need to get it done. Yes. Heather Grintz is here saying he's 29. Yes. Miss T, I got my Boho Heart book early this week. Thank you. You're welcome. Now, you should have been had that because it was mailed a long time ago. That's so weird how certain people get their stuff within 2 and 3 days, and other people, it take them a week and a half. It's so weird how the mail system works. My brothers finally came in from outside. He says, hey, sis, and everyone, stay safe still. Diane wants a poodle in hers. And Jason says, I'm going to have to get rid of all the applique blocks. Speaking of owls, Miss Tula Pink has a new line shipping in October. I've heard, they've always got new lines coming out, 3 or 4 a year. But I heard about her line, so that's pretty cool. Okay. So I got that done. Before I start sewing on the heart stuff, I do need to put binding on this project bag that I'm making. And I meant to put this fabric on the outside so it would be pretty. But when I got to working, I basted it to the wrong side. And who's taking out stitches? It's not going to be me. So long as it's functional is the main thing, because I want the pretty part outside, because when you put the stuff in the bag, you won't see the pretty stuff. But hey, it is what it is. So we move on to the next thing to do, right? And I need to cut this end. Wash your hands says, I do plan to make the Boho Heart pattern easy for me. If a block is difficult, I'll replace it with something in my skill level. Listen, LePage, talking about T was just telling us how much she loves her brother's sewing machine, right? And then they go thinking of brother. Where is your brother? See, where is Ray? That's how it came out. Brother came out with a new luminaire. It's beautiful. Ellen's having signal issues. Postal Service is just like everywhere else. Stuff gets done faster when the go-getters are at work. Right. And I think that's what kind of happened at my post office, because it's summertime and people are going on vacations. And, I went in there some days, it was only one person working. So, yeah. It's very difficult when you got a group of people and nobody has pride in their jobs right now. I can understand everybody is stressed too, so I fully understand that. But it's like some of them don't want to work, so. And then I've got this, I'm going to have to put something on my table here. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm saying okay, but ain't reading. I'm getting stuff that's off the side. All right. I want to increase this just a little bit. Oh, what I wanted to do, yeah, I did, but I don't want to sew on it. I just want to put it under here to keep my vinyl from sticking to the table. But I don't want to sew on it. We'll see how that works. All right. Oops, I did it again. Too much wiggling around the fabric. Okay. This is got to be the, I understand how this thing works now, this needle threader, but it's still the dumbest thing I've ever seen on a sewing machine. That's all I gotta say. But being positive, at least it has one. There are many machines that don't have one. Okay. And I did it again too. Didn't wait for it to completely stop. Yeah, everybody wants the finer things in life, but nowadays nobody wants to do the work like, what our ancestors and, what we had to do to be where we are. It's like that's a lost thing now. They don't want to work. I don't need to turn that because it's not being sold. It's just a vessel. And I hate when I'm not chain piecing because I can't chain piece on binding because you got to stop stitching. Well, I guess I could, but my needle's not even up high enough. That's the other thing. Your needle got to be in the correct position. Got to put the thread in 2 different places. And it's still acting crazy. And then as soon as you get frustrated and fed up, it works. And I'm telling you, it works a whole lot better when I'm not live than when I'm live. I don't know what that's about either. Most of the time, I am trying to chain piece, so I'm not dealing with that. But there are times that, when you're making bags and putting on binding, that you've got to cut the thread. Well, I guess you don't have to. You could just backstitch and pull it out, I guess. That's just not a habit I'm in the habit of doing. Okay. Don't do any of the fancy wiggling. Don't want to put that in my mouth. Nancy says, just wait till you will love the threader when your eyes get older. I'm lazy now. That's what I'm saying. I'm determined that I'm going to use the threader because I don't want to be threading it manually. I can. I have to thread my gamma manually, so just pull my piece back down so I can, Oops, I need to put this under my handle here. But yeah, I try. Whoops, I don't want to stitch on my fabric underneath you. A little too close for comfort. Need this pin so I can tell it where I want to stop, or tell myself. Okay. All right, Mona, I'll approve them after I get off the live. Says she joined the Facebook group. Thank you so much. Thanks, Tiffany. Hi, Denise, Sew Patch 33. What stitch length do you use when sewing with plastic? I try to use like 2.5 or higher, sometimes like 3.0, just so that I'm getting less holes in the plastic. I normally stitch with a 2.0 stitch length, just for reference. Got to pull this back. If you stitch sometimes with a 2.0 or smaller, you know, and it depends on the thickness of your vinyl too. You know, you could perforate it so much that it starts tearing. So you just have to be careful with that. Now, saying that, I've made in the hoop embroidery projects that has satin stitched over plastic with no problem. So your project bag is what I made today at the sew day. It's almost finished. And first time making something like that. So that's cool. That's Susie. I start stuff and never finish it. So, Miss T, what is your favorite color? My favorite color actually is red. That's one thing I can't do, the automatic needle threader. I figured it out. I know how it's supposed to work. It's just sometimes it just doesn't catch. And then I rearrange my needle or something like that, and then it tends to work. But your needle has to be in the highest point that needle can be. And then you also have to have your presser foot lever up. So that makes a difference. It's not going to thread if the presser foot lever is down, because it's not going to be able to pull that thread through, because it's stuck in the thread guide when the lever is down. The thread tension dish shut down, so it won't move. Am I on the last one? Yep. I'm glad I looked. Just need to sew a little bit to get it going here. I figured do this side with the plastic first, get the problem out the way, and then do the other side. All right. So I want to connect these two ends. I would normally press this intersection with an iron, but we're gonna just scratch it a little bit. Cut off what I don't need so it's out the way. And I'll be using this on another one. Okay. Connie says, just caught the end. Send birthday card to T for Eric's birthday. I would do that if it's correct. Yes, we were trying to find where his P.O. box was if you do it within the next week. Otherwise, you need to wait and figure out how you can send it to him. Just trying to surprise him with cards in the mail would be really nice. Eric did a lot of work his first year on YouTube, even doing the 52-week sew-along. He came out with that immediately after starting, after about 2 or 3 weeks of being live on YouTube. And he has lately not been posting on schedule because he's had internet problems. But Eric also has a very busy and high demanding job. So he's taking time out of his own personal time to do YouTube videos, which is really nice. So just be great if people would send him a card of thanks. Just trying to make sure I'm covering this plastic so I can move. Anytime it don't move, I know it's the plastic down there. So I'm just sewing my diagonal seam. I never mark it. If I'm teaching somebody, I will say mark it. Me, I've been doing this long enough that I can eyeball it. One of those, do as I say, not as I do. Put that back there, save that, make a half square triangle or something later. And all right. Hey, Vicky. Oh, Diane says she wants to make the project bag like what I'm working on. I ended up quilting 2 pieces of fabric on my long arm, and this was one of the few times I haven't done anything where I could use a whole lot of scrap batting. I quilted 3 yards of fabric on a 108 wide, so I just filled up. I cut, since fabric is like 42 inches wide, I probably cut a piece of fabric about 50 inches off of a 108. And then I put that onto my long arm, and then I just filled it up with fabric, which is going to be a little less than 3 yards because I had, you got to leave space on the 108 for, side grips and stuff. So yeah, I've just quilted 3 yards of material. And then I was able to use my scrap batting. I did not sew it together ahead of time. I'm like, this is a project, going to be project bags. And it's not critical that they are have the same level of flatness. And it's so weird because this one doesn't, I know that I've got connecting batting in here, but I don't feel it. And I almost think your bag will be stronger because you got overlapping batting pieces, so your little project bag. But I don't, stuff like that are, gonna hold projects, utilitarian style stuff like that. I don't care if it's perfect in that sense. It looks pretty. I did just feathers all over it, the whole 3-yard 108, and then that's where I'm at. I was supposed to have, again, this was supposed to be on the inside, this was supposed to be on the outside, but hey, it's okay, it's done. And I normally do all of this at my sewing machine, but I guess we won't today. I mean, at my pressing station, not my sewing machine, my press station. But we're just going to get it done so I can put something in it. It definitely won't be Boho Hearts. Not all that fabric I got. All right, and I might increase this just a little bit more because I keep sewing over more and more thickness. And let's see. Do this corner before I get to it. And stick a pin in it. Ouch. And Dorsey says her favorite color is red also. Hey, Claudette Bettis. And Diane says she always uses hers because this grandma's blind. Yep. I just use mine because it's on the machine and I like it. So I'm like, if they got it there, I'm going to use it. The thread cutter on by the needle. The back is for cutting, and the front will hold your thread up out of the way. After I wrap my thread around the needle threader, I put my thread and it tails in. Yeah, it's got, well, I don't know if she's talking about this model, but yeah, you got the little thing with the red dot. I do wrap it around. I do understand fully how they want you to use this. It's just that it doesn't function correct all the time. Like I said, that needle's got to be in that sweet spot, and it won't do it otherwise. Good night, Mona. No one works like we used to, and now they don't even want to cook like we used to. There are ready-made meals everywhere. Yes, honey, tell it. Right now, it's a family issue for Eric. That's why he's not responding to stuff. So yeah, so that's fine. Okay, Remo. Thanks, Beverly. So all I've done is, I haven't done one stitch yet, I don't think. So I need to back stitch. I just made sure I had that binding, the corner stitch down. And now I'm going over this zipper. Got all these levels of stuff. Now I'm a little bit different. Even on the sewing machine, I want my binding edges covered. So I stitch them with the machine, and then I back up on the same stitch lines. And then turn that corner. I like my corners finished. I don't know if I want these up out of the way or down to stitch on them. If I stitch them, they'll be stitched down one more time. That'll be extra security. So we'll do that. Always got to make decisions. Make sure this other one is down. And I need to fix this. I need to put a pin in here for my miter corner. I'll be almost to the end. You need some space to do that. I keep hitting the mic, guys. Sorry. Becky Bramlin says, could you put the vinyl on the bottom inside and out so maybe it's like waterproof if set down? This vinyl is on the Yeah, you could put it on the inside if you want to. You could put 2 layers of vinyl in. The reason why the vinyl is on the front on most project bags is so that you can see what's in your bag. But you're more than welcome to put 2 pieces of vinyl if you want to still see it from the front. You can, you just, like when I had to turn it over to sew, you're just going to have to make sure that you have, I use either freezer paper or tissue paper. I use tissue paper if I have it. I had some in some packaging. So I kept all of it knowing that I was going to be working on vinyl. Otherwise, I use freezer paper, but freezer paper is a little bit thicker to tear out. But I do, you just have to use something so that it doesn't stick. And I tried, one of the YouTubers says she puts like Scotch tape on the bottom of her foot and the vinyl doesn't stick. That didn't work for me. I tried that and the vinyl would not move. So yeah, I just put the handle down and stitched across it again because these handles are not going to be something that's going to be held all the time. It's just something that you can use to hang it up. You don't even have to put a hanger on here. You can just use a piece of fabric and put in here. I used webbing, but you can use just a piece of fabric to hang your blocks with. I just didn't feel like cutting another thing. So I just made that because I didn't feel like sewing anything else. I was being lazy. Okay. Don't know what I did with that pen. Don't know if I put it up or if I laid it somewhere else. I'm good for that. I think I got one more mitered corner to do here. Okay. All right, let's get this corner. You're welcome, Becky. He was talking about how the front of the little cutter is a thread holder. I didn't know this. I found out about 6 months ago and I use it all the time. Yeah. Because it's actually stated in the instructions. Whoever wrote Brothers instructions for their manuals, they need to fire them and hire somebody else. Unfortunately. Because they're pretty bad. I had to read that over and over and over to understand what they were telling me. And I'm computer literate. Can you imagine somebody, or sewing machine literate? And can you imagine somebody that's never sewed before having to deal with them, trying to figure that out? And she says Heather's going to get a Teflon foot. I think I am too if I'm going to be doing bags on here. And Wash Your Hands says, I like project bags. This one is pretty. Thank you. I wish I could see the pretty, but I can't. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, I figured they would be cheap. I'm trying to get down to the bottom, guys, to make sure I don't get any more comments. And I wanted to the reason why I didn't buy mine right away is because, like I said, major YouTube channels that make bags are saying that you can just put tape on it. And I'm like, okay, if I'm just going to put tape on it, I don't need it, you know. But no, you need a Teflon foot if you're going to be working with vinyl. And, you know, there's so many different types of vinyl, but this is just see-through vinyl. But then there's your regular vinyl that it can stick to. It can stick to leather. There is also leather feet as well. I got a leather roller foot from my Bernina, because I thought I was going to be, you know, doing my bags on that. And then after I thought about it, of course, after I bought the foot, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be sewing super thick stuff like a bag with double leather front and back. And then you got the seams. That's 4 seams of leather. That's pretty thick. And I'm not putting that through an expensive machine. I'm just not going to do it. Now, I've got my handle on here. I'm trying to decide if I want to stitch it at the top or not. I don't think I need to. It's just a bag. And I can put my projects in here. And what I went ahead and put a fabric layer next to my vinyl. I had cut my vinyl the same size as my back originally, and then decided maybe I might want to do this, put fabric over here so that it has less chance of pulling out of the seam from putting stuff in it. This would be the stress point of the seam. So I just put fabric there. So hopefully that works. I don't know. I have project bags in the past, and I don't, like, once I put stuff in them, for the most part, they're just in there. Sometimes I'm putting like my work in progress in them. So sometimes I get back to them and sometimes I don't. But I do plan to make more of these. Like I said, I made 3 yards of quilted fabric. So hopefully I'll be making some more of these. But this is just it on the front, and then the back with the handle up. It's just like that. Now, if you're concerned about the handle, you could take it and stitch right here. But I've stitched this handle down so many times before I put my, and that's another reason I put the fabric up here, because I knew I was going to stitch the handle down like crazy, because the last thing you want when you have a bag like this is for the handle to break or to come out. So I've got so many levels of stitching in here, so I don't think I need it. But if you feel you need more stitching, you can hold your handle up and then stitch right along the top from the front so that you catch the top of this by stitching just right along the top of the binding. But then you're going to see that stitching, and I don't want that, so I'm not going to do it. I'd rather just have it plain up there, and nobody will even notice that. So looking forward. So that's 2 things I've done. It gets me out of cleaning. The live chats are getting me out of cleaning. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tiffany. Let me pull this, see if I can pull up chat on my other phone so I can get this link Tiffany is given. Sorry, guys. I was on YouTube looking at one of my favorite videos. It's a parody. It's not a quilt related video, but it's one of those that's funny. When you need a laugh, I go look at her. It's about to give me commercials. All I want is a link. Okay. Am I in the wrong chat? Okay, maybe I'm in the wrong chat. Hold on. Yep. I'm in the wrong live. Ooh-wee. I'm going to go get Tiffany's link so I can open it on my other phone, and then I'll have it. Thanks, Tiffany. Yeah, that could be a problem with these manuals. I have a brother 10 needle machine, and reading the manual is like trying to take a test and none of the answers in the manual. Yeah, it's like I've looked like tension. They'll tell you about tension, but the photos aren't great. I understand what they're saying, but they're not saying enough about tension to me. Thanks, everybody. People still saying the back look nice. Thank you. Diane says anything to not have to clean. Yeah. Wouldn't you rather craft and clean? Honestly, yeah, you can see from here. Yes. Always. But I got to make sure I got place for people to eat and sit. I do plan for us to go out on my deck to eat. I do have, I've been working on it. I don't know if I'm going to put it up for them or not, because I've been getting like new deck tables and stuff like that, and I got rugs, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put the rugs out, because then if they get wet, I got to be bothered with wet rugs. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put them out when they come or not, but we'll see. So I wanted them to go see my new furniture. Good night, Teresa. Thank you for coming in. Jason says the internet kicked him out. Okay. Yeah, so now I'm just going to sew. I've been working on those. I have not been working. Well, I guess I have a little bit. I got some of the 3-part pieces sewn. They're not pressed. This is another set. I've done those other set that I showed you all. I think I have 40 of them here because I got them separated. Maybe I got 50 because I got 5 sets. I haven't counted them. They're in that neighborhood. I got plenty to make, so who cares how many is there right now? And then I need to make some half square triangles to go with that. So I'm going to just sew some of that while we chat the next 45 minutes. Quick says, I'd rather mow 2.5 acres than clean the house. You got that right. And I think I hate cleaning because of my mom, as I said. She was old school, honey. And we cleaned every Saturday, top to bottom. I hated it. And the first 3 rooms of our house were paneled from floor to ceiling, and we cleaned that wood paneling with furniture polish every week. Every week. Yep. Yep. She knew what to do. She was just keeping us busy. When you got 8 kids and you just let them just do nothing, So she was keeping us busy. I fully understand what was going on as an adult. As a child, I was like, oh my God. My mother had so many kids. The only time she went into the kitchen was when she was cooking. Other than that, you went and got her water, her drink, her snack, her whatever, okay? She put us to work. And she's still like that to this day. I got 2 of my brothers that live with my mom. I want to cut back down my tension a little bit, closer to 2. And she bossed them grown men around, and I just laugh and I tell them, you have no choice. If you don't want to be bossed around, get your own place. Since this is my first seam and it's very short thread, I'll put a couple of stitches in there to make sure it don't come loose on the corner. But yeah, my mom is funny. She's still bossy. Yes, T, we learned to do laundry at 8 years old. I'm like, yeah, we were cooking. When you could see over that stove, I got a mark on my wrist from cooking. I don't even know if it'll show up. But I got a burn from the oven right here when I was a kid. Okay, cooking. And we were cooking with gas stove, and the pilot light must have gone out. So my brother told me, just light it with a match. And it was the oven pilot, okay? And so I'm like, the oven is still on. I'm walking around trying to find a match. Yeah. And the whole time the gas on the stove, and here I come with a match. Woo-hoo-wee. It might have been Ray too, you know. I'm surprised I even like him. He was trying to kill me as a kid. And he happens to be my favorite brother. That is so crazy. Yes, I had to do dishes and laundry, but I don't know what she's saying. I can't read the rest of it. When I was young, my job was to dust the house. Now I can't stand it. And that's my worst. That was the thing I hated the most, was dusting. And my mom had a lot of whatnots. So yeah, I hated it. China cabinets and all of that kind of stuff. Curios. I have a china cabinet. Actually got my mom's china cabinet because I had told her long time ago that I wanted her china cabinets to make sure she didn't give it to anybody else. And she ended up giving it to me while she was alive. She was like, girl, here, you get your stuff and I know you got your stuff. So she gave it to me while she was alive. And then I had set it up. It was all pretty. I have a snowman collection that I used to leave up all year. And then one of these days, you know, the more stuff you buy with quilting, the less storage space. And I said, you know what? I'm kicking this stuff out. It's been in storage for about 7 years now. And all my snowman collector stuff. And then I have got my quilt tops in there, okay? Everything that needs to be quilted is in that china cabinet. My curio, I got rid of it, gave it to my daughter when I got the long arm, because I could only keep one. And my mom's was bigger. And of course I wanted it because I asked her for it in the first place. And I've had it for about 20 years. She gave it to me a long time ago too. I wanted to make sure she didn't give it to somebody else. She was like, you can take it now. I'm like, okay, you sure? She didn't care. Turn the channel on the TV too. There was no remote back then. Right. You got that right. And we only had, when we were growing up, we had one color television. And it was that big console thing that had the radio on one side at the top, record player on the other side at the top, speakers underneath that, and then the TV was in the middle. Big, huge thing. And we had one. And then later on, when we started to get to be teenagers, I think my thread just broke. It sounded crazy. And I'm seeing double thread for some reason. Yeah, it sounds crazy. I'm wondering if my bobbin's running out. I don't know. Just sounds crazy. I always just stop and look just to make sure bobbin's not running out. Just sounded weird. You know your machine, when it start making weird noises, stop and investigate. I did not rethread it, but we'll see if I need to rethread it. I don't know what that was about. Just the top thread must have got caught on something it didn't like. But yeah, so yeah, that's what we had. But then eventually, like my brother Ray, he was the first one to have, I think, a television in his room. It was a little black and white television. And that's when Atari came out. And we used to play Atari on his television. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even have known a video game existed as a child. I did go to like the video playing centers. We had those in our neighborhood. We actually had one on our street that had ping pong machines and pool tables. So yeah, and we had a pool table at home too. We eventually did. I can't remember what age that was or how we even got it. I have no idea. Because I know my mom didn't buy it. I don't know if somebody gave it to us or what. We all know the old school mamas that had you clean the woodwork every Saturday and had to scrub the kitchen floor every night after dinner. My dad changed the TV. Remember the old TV? Lana says, I have laundry to do, but it's still 93 degrees in my house. I thought of dryer running. You know what? I hang up about 90% of my clothes. I don't even dry most of my clothes. Towels get dried, sheets, of course, get dry, but most of 90% of my stuff, I just hang up. I don't even worry about that. So I don't even do it in the wintertime when you can use the dryer heat for, to heat your house. Jason says that grease got me. On that stove. And you only had a few channels to pick from. You got that right. Nancy says, T, I bet you still listen to her. My mom is funny. I don't have to listen. It's all funny. And then I go home, okay? It depends on what she's saying. My mom is like this. Okay, I'm having Labor Day in my house. I haven't had it since 2019. I told her that I was going to have it. She come calling me right after 4th of July talking about what are you having for Labor Day. I'm like, I don't know. Food. I have no idea what you're going to eat. She's trying to figure out what I'm going to make so she can figure out what she's going to bring. And it's just hilarious to me. It's like I don't plan a meal 3 months out. I'm like more of a week, 10 days kind of girl, It'll get done. And it'll be done very well. But I don't need 3 months to do it. My mom likes to plan everything. And when it's involving food, she'll drive you nuts. Now, with only one kid left and 1 year left, I've lost all my house cleaning minions. Now I have to do some chores and Scott does the rest. That's Tiffany. Jason says, stop it with the match. Right. I'm telling the story. He's trying to tell me to stop. Nope. And Remo saying, why did you do that? Because the pilot light was out and you have to light it with a match. That's on when you got to remember back in the old days when I have never had the pilot light go out. Hold on, guys. I'm hitting the mic because I got this white fabric. It's hard to see which side is the right side. But your pilot lights went out a lot. Now, I've had my own stove since I've moved out of my house, and I've never had to light a pilot light, okay? Now, stuff lasted a long time, but for some reason on stoves back in the day, pilot lights would be going out all the time. I've never had one go out here. Even when I've lost power, I've never had to go light the pilot on my stove. I don't understand. Because they're supposed to be part electric still to them, so I don't know. But I have gas stove here too. I actually like cooking on gas stove, especially baking. That's a mother job to teach kids how to take care of the home and themselves. Yes, and my mom didn't discriminate. Like, the girls weren't washing dishes all the time. We split up the chores. One week you washed dishes. One week you took the trash out. One week you done the dusting. One week you did bathroom. Some weeks were, some jobs during the week were easier than others. But, when you had the bathroom thing, that was your job for the week. When you got 8 kids, you cleaning that joker every day. They clean the tub, but you got to go clean the seat and the sink and the toilet when you got that many people living in one house. So, yeah. My mom didn't mess around. We had 8 kids, but you never knew it when you came in the house that it was 8 kids there. Because her house was clean. And she's still like that to this day. Her house is clean like that. She don't clean it. She be on my brothers. Lena Dean says, amen. There were 7 of us kids, but as an adult and children of my own, I love to work. The work ethics my mother taught us. Right. My mother is no longer with us. Yes. And that's what I can say. I say that about my aunt because she used to do cleaning jobs. And not only did we work at home, but my aunt would roll through and had the nerve to pick us up to go with her to go clean her part-time jobs in the evening, cleaning out business offices. And she might buy us some Burger King or McDonald's, but because she don't took us away from dinner, first of all. So now when we get back home, dinner's over and done. And then she had the nerve to buy us a little cheap meal. You know how much that meal cost today? We didn't get no money. She wasn't joking. I do have to say, although I hated when she would pull up, we got to the point where we wouldn't even be at home. We'd be at friend's house knowing she coming. We was like, I'm not doing that today. But I have to say, I told her on her 75th birthday party, I said, you at least taught me what work ethic was. I didn't want to do it, but I was taught. I was taught by the best, my mom and my aunt. And what made me so mad at my aunt was that she come get my mama's kids, but she wouldn't take her own kids. That's what made me mad. Like, where's your kids? Ray talking about would I do something like that? Yes. You did a whole lot of stuff to me. I wish I had a china cabinet. My mom has gone to glory for Remo. Work ethics, my son, the same way. Yep. Jackie says, I have 2 boys, and when they were young, learned to clean, do laundry, cook, and now their wives thank me. Exactly. Still have that one. I still have that piece of furniture. No guts used for storage. So she took out I still got the shelving and everything in mine. What I had as a child was, what do you call that thing? A chifforobe is what we called it here. I don't know what it's called other places, or that's what we called it in our community. It was a chifforobe. And it was like you would open it up, and one side was drawers and had a top stand, a shelf for you to put stuff on, like your toiletries. Then the other side you open up and you can put clothes in it. And that's what I use for my clothing. So I left that at my mom's house when I moved out and went back and somebody stole it. I wish I had that to this day. My kids are too destructive to have nice things. I'm lucky there's only a few fingerprints on the TV instead of the TV being ripped off the wall. That's from Heather. Got son to cook. I told him better learn. Your wife might not be a cook. You're right. If you like good food, which our family is filled with good cooks, if you want to eat it all your life, and you know you got to move out one day, start your own family, you better get in here and learn something. Do Yoder says, I remember my mom buying a big console like that, red velvet on the front, and she said it could be her coffin when she passed. Out loud. That's funny. I taught my kids to do their laundry and clean. They all worked in restaurants, so they all know how to cook too. Yeah, and my two of my brothers, or was it three? One, two. Two of my brothers got jobs. My mom was a waitress, and then she became a gourmet chef at a place, a private club for university members, and it would have like politicians and all of that kind of stuff in there. So she met a man that owned the local chain of grocery stores here. And then she used to start doing their private Thanksgiving and family dinners, Christmas dinners. Her and my aunt, they would go and cook food and then serve it to his guests. And that man in that restaurant, he started sending us food. And then the grocery stores had a restaurant in it. And two of my brothers got jobs through him. And they worked in the restaurant industry their entire life, their working history. So that was pretty cool. Me, I like cooking and I like to eat good food, but I don't want to cook all the time every day because I hate washing dishes. And somebody got to wash the dishes, and the dishes don't get washed fast enough for me. So, no, I don't want to cook full time. I cook, I'll take 3 days or something. I'll make a lot of soups. I'll make stuff I can freeze. And then I have food for a while. And then when I'm hungry, I just go in the freezer and get something to eat. So I'm kind of like making my own frozen meals. So when I don't feel like cooking. I got about 3 soups in my freezer now. Hey, Phyllis G. She says it's been a while. She's watching on television. Delia says if you blow up the kitchen, then you don't have to cook anymore. Right. I'm trying to burn myself to death. I didn't mess up nothing in the kitchen. It's just that the flame came back, kicked onto me. And guess what? I still had to finish cooking because I was still hungry. I don't even think I went to the ER. We were tough. I don't even know if I even told my mother because I didn't want to not be able to cook, okay? I can't even remember anything other than me being burned. I just know I got right on back in there and fixed me something to eat. Meals to cook was oven toast. When you melt butter, and then you put it in the oven, or you can just put some butter chunks on the bread and just put it into we used to have the bottom broiler on the oven. It wasn't at the top. And so, yeah, that was one of our favorite things. And that's probably what my dumb butt was trying to cook, was some toast. And when I got burned, I still wanted the toast. So, yeah. It's 9:37. Now I got a lot of pieces that need to be pressed. And I need to cut 1 5-inch square from my other African prints. Well, I need to get at least, I need 2 bags front and back, so I need 13 squares I need to cut out of my scraps. So I can make 2 more fronts and backs. So yeah. And I must be way behind because they still talking about the record player. Here in Georgia, we had 3 channels with the help of rabbit ears, 2, 5, and 12, which was ABC, NBC, CBS, yes. And then we also had like channel 11. That's where you would get the Elvis Presley movies, Bridget, the Three Stooges. I'm blocking the name. The one that had buckwheat. The Little Rascals. Who else did I watch? And it was the girl named Gidget, or I can't remember, something like that. But yeah, we had quite a few channels. You didn't have a lot. You had them. You could count them on your fingers, but you know you figured them out. And Diane told me my girls tried to hide dirty dishes and sneak them in the trash. Oh my God, you're gonna be buying dishes forever. And Do Yoda says used to light cigarettes off the gas stove. And Lana says she'd rather have gas over electric any day. Yeah, it just seems like it bakes better. My sister, when she was alive, I used to bake cakes at her house, and she had the electric oven. The only thing I liked about her electric oven was that she had the oven she didn't even know what it was until I told her. And it had the cake oven as well. So it was double. She just thought she had a double oven and one was big and one was small. But, you know, when she had 4 children and her husband, and then they would, you know, we always had the houses that all the friends were there. So you were feeding other people's children. I think these parents didn't have money, but we were too dumb to know it. And we fed half our neighborhoods. And I told her that was a cake oven because it fit the cake pan, your bundt pan for cakes and your round cake pans. They fit perfectly into that oven. And I said, this is what it's got to be. That was some of the best cake coming out of a true cake oven that was made where the heat was just right on those, right for that pan. It wasn't all over the oven. It was just right there for that pan. Those were the best cakes I ever made. I got to the point where I started going to her house to cook my desserts and stuff. I have a 1940s gas stove. Have to use matches to light it. Yes, oh my God. I would probably have a flashback. That's Sherlock So's. If you're coming in or leaving, and make sure you hit your thumbs up. That's from Darcy. Thank you, Darcy. Also, Darcy, send me your mailing address again. I still haven't gotten my book back. I didn't check today, but I'll see. I had 2 that weren't paid for. 1 I've already sold, and I'll send you the second one again. And then that's all I have right now for Boho Hearts, I think. I have to check. Oh, yeah. And she said, don't you remember getting awakened when you didn't do your chores? Yep, that was me. I was trying to sleep on some dishes one night, knowing I had to go to school the next day. I'm like, she won't wake me up to go to school because it's not like I waited to Friday night. I was like, I'm going to try it on Monday. I got to go to work. I got to go to school in the morning on Monday. She ain't going to wake me up. Huh? That woman woke me up. She woke me up. My auntie would have you light her cigarettes on the gas stove, 10 years old. Yep, they did a lot of crazy stuff because you could even go get alcohol for these people, as a kid back then. We were in the house. We were 6 in the house with 1 bathroom. When we all moved out, Dad put in a second bedroom. Now that's funny, Jackie. We had 1 bathroom too. We had 4-bedroom house. They had one bathroom. I was like, oh my God. Now that's funny. Thank you, Darcy and Kevin. My son just asked about changing TV channels as a kid, told him about it. He said, what happened if we didn't change it? So I smacked him. By the way, he's 30. That's right. He got hit upside the head or my mom wasn't moving to get you. She'd throw a shoe. Because, of course, kids are going to try to act like they don't hear you and all this other kind of stuff. But when we realized she wasn't playing, we didn't even mess with her. We had to pick our battles, okay? We knew we were going to have to suffer the consequences. We picked which ones we wanted those consequences for. My grandmother had a little beautiful shiffer. Wish I had. Yes, I wish I had mine, but they sure broke in there and stole everything. We had a clawfoot tub I could have used today. All this stuff that's coming back. My mom worked until she was almost 76. She'll be 82 this year now. Lord, I'm glad that she lived that long, but that was one of the reasons why I retired early off my job. I worked for the Department of Mental Health, and a lot of the people there, especially our aides, we had called them psychiatric aides at the time. I don't know what they call them now, but they would work longer than they should have, way past retirement, way past Social Security eligibility, because they couldn't afford to pay their bills off of their salary. Other than housekeeping, I think they were the lowest paid after that in the facility, but they did the most work, which I don't agree with. So it was difficult for them to retire, and a lot of them were pushing walkers coming to work, or using rolling chairs or rolling walker chairs. I said, this is ridiculous, and it's not safe for them, but they couldn't afford to retire. And long as nothing happened on the job couldn't fire them or tell them they had to quit, which I wouldn't agree with that either. But, I just decided I wasn't going to work here, and then they retire, and then 2 years later, they're dead or something like that. And I go, nope, not going to happen to me. I'm leaving out of here so I can enjoy life. So, yep, a shipper robe. That's what we called it, T. Okay. Because sometimes I don't know if we're making up words because we're from the South. A lot of stuff that I learned from my mom, I'm like, I had to unlearn. And so every once in a while, I still have certain words that come up. Yeah. Yep, I have my grandmother's bow china cabinets and shiffer robe. That's quilt gal, so that's awesome. They call it an armoire or Chester drawer. I don't know if do they call it a Chester drawer? Because I thought that was like in your regular furniture. This one was when they had doors. I thought it was more, it could have been an armoire or shiffer robe. I don't know if they call it Chester drawer, but those are good too. Sometimes one of us would sit close to the TV so we didn't have to keep getting up to change the channel. That's Darcy. Yeah, that's kind of how we did it too. Whoever was sitting like on the end of the couch that was closest, you kind of got there. And then, we had the couch, love seat, and the chair, but that still didn't sit, 10, 12 people, because we always had some friends over with 8 children. So some of us were sitting on the floor, laying on the floor, had made pads or whatever. So, yeah. Tiffany says, I used to love to cook. Then I had 4 kids, and my love for cooking died. Yeah. Especially with 4 kids, I was pretty fortunate. My daughter only didn't like 2 things. She didn't like chocolate, and she don't like grits. But other than that, she ate stuff. But most kids are picky eaters. My daughter just isn't a picky eater, so I got away from that. But they'll look at something and won't even taste it. But my daughter tried everything. She's still a foodie to this day. She just don't like grits, and she don't like chocolate. So I made some stuffed peppers from our garden today. I won't cook for 3 days. Now, I love stuffed peppers, and I also love red pepper bisque soup. My mom make that, and it is so good. I need to learn how to make that. All I know is that she roasts the potatoes on a gas burner. She just puts it on top of the fire, and she rotates it with a spatula to get it to burn cook, and then she uses that. She gets all the seeds out of it, and she does puree with it and something, and then it's put into a pot and cooked some kind of way. I have no idea, but I do know it's cooked on a gas burner. That's the best soup to make. I remember sneaking down the hallway and sitting on the floor between my parents' armchairs watching Mannix. Got my butt tore up, but they didn't even know I was there for the longest time. That's funny. Or grilled cheese sandwich in the oven. That's good too. That's the best toast. And I'm so far behind on comments because toast was a long time ago. Diane made her toast in a skillet. Such a treat. Yeah. To this day, I do have a 4-toaster thing that I do use sometimes. But I'm telling you, my husband had never had oven toast. That's the best thing going. And then when you start putting in like cinnamon sugar and stuff like that, or you can even make, it's really making cinnamon butter. Do you know they're now selling this stuff, garlic butter? I used to do all of that and put my bread in there to get it into the bread in the skillet, and then I put it into the oven so that it would cook in the oven. That is the best bread. And now they selling that kind of stuff that we were at home making, just making up stuff, okay? We missed our calling. That's what it is. Yep, and June said she can remember her mom making cheese sandwiches in the oven too. Yep. Remo says parents had bid whist. I love playing bid whist. I can't find none of my family play bid whist. I learned to play bid whist on the job. And so it wasn't something that was in like the black community, but I do know how to play spades too, but I actually love bid whist, but none of my family play. I actually play it on the apps just so I can keep my skills up. Yep. They had grilled peanut butter, like grilled cheese, but with peanut butter was yummy. Now, I've never had that, Darcy. Haven't had that one. Yes, Gidget was one. Okay. And Gilligan's Island was another. Yes, thank you. Leave It to Beaver. My girls, yeah, I did Leave It to Beaver too. My girls put dishes under their bed until I found them. And then they washed dishes for 2 months. Oh my God. Thanks, Tiffany. I'm not down at the bottom. Maybe I should go down to the bottom because I got so many comments. Let me go down to the bottom, guys. Oh, I'm there already. I didn't realize I was that close. Lena talking about T, you are so funny and real. Your childhood was so familiar to my childhood growing up. God bless you. Yes. You know, I only birthed one child. My family is so large that I was the one that took all of my nieces and nephews, and I did 2 weeks in the summer where I pulled everybody out of the different daycares and I took them on excursions for 2 weeks. I had a whole agenda plan, how much the parents needed to send. Some of them would pay for the whole 2 weeks. Some of them would pay every day, and I told them that the days where they needed to pack a lunch, or days that I was providing lunch, or days that we were eating out and I needed money for lunch, because I gave them different points of views of how they can eat, the things that they can do. Their parents would have never taken them. I've taken them to Merrimack Caverns. They would have never gone to Merrimack Caverns when not one of their parents have ever been to Merrimack Caverns. So I did a lot of stuff that I wanted. And the reason why I did that is because my mom did it for us. She had a group of friends that would go canoeing. Now, I hate canoeing, but I went twice to make sure that I hated it, and I do. It's fun, the concept of canoeing, until you go get stuck in the water, and then you got to get out and get unstuck, and all this slime is swimming around your knees and stuff, and it's like, no thank you. I think I have determined that I don't like canoeing. But I like the fact that my mom took us on adventures and stuff like that all the time. And so I wanted to pass that down to my family members so that they were aware that there was more going on in the world than what was in their neighborhood. And they knew it as a child, not knowing it as an adult. So that was the main thing. Okay, Darcy. Elena talking about amen to the one bathroom. Yeah, but it was always clean, though. We didn't mess around. Nobody went in there and made a mess in it. People already knew, back then you just didn't do this type of stuff that people are doing now, destroying stuff. You just didn't do all that stuff. You didn't take a bath and leave a towel on the floor. It was a place for everything. And I don't even want to talk about laundry day because we had one washing machine, but when you got 9 people living in one house and you got to wash, you're going to be forever washing for 9 people. We went to the laundromat and washed because we could get it done in 2 hours and be done. It was like later. So that was a whole nother trip. Good night, Vivian. How is Chester and how do you have his underwear? I didn't know chest of drawers till I was 11. That's funny. Shut up, Kevin. Things are so strict about what youth can and can't buy. He is 17. I asked him to get me some Tylenol and they wouldn't sell it to him. That is a little too strict. Now, that's weird. I didn't know that you had to be a certain age to even buy Tylenol. Sheila says, my rule was if you did not like the food, you had to eat 2 spoonfuls. Yep. I will take her share of chocolate. That's funny. Bonita says, my 6th grade teacher taught the class how to play bid whist. Now, that's funny that a teacher taught that. That's weird. Ozzie and Harriet, the Three Stooges. I can't remember a whole lot about Ozzie and Harriet, but I do remember the name, of course, but I can't remember anything, so I don't know if I retained any of that. That's kind of weird, what I did remember growing up. And Hogan's Heroes, I kind of watched spottedly because I was starting to work around that time. And I wasn't home a lot. So I never, we didn't have, recorders and all that kind of stuff. And then when the VCR first came out, it was very expensive. So you did niece and nephew retreats. Yes, I did. You had Auntie T's summer camp, yes, and a lot of them loved it too. So they love coming. They couldn't wait because while some of the trips were educational, a lot of them were fun trips too. Like I took them to Six Flags and stuff like that. We went to the zoo, which they thought it was all fun, but it was also educational. So it was like I snuck in education on them when they didn't even know they were going to get some education. So, but yes. I played Jim Rummy and Solitaire, Old May, Go Fish, and Spades. That's Diane. Elbow grease is what my mom called it, and you best put some in. You got that right. I tried to see the caverns here in Texas. I walked in there and ran back out. Yes, that's the thing about the caverns. You got to be prepared. I always did my homework. So I would, it's mostly going to be around 60 degrees in caverns for the most part, no matter what time of year it is. But in the summertime, it feels like it's even colder than 60 degrees because it's so freaking hot outside. And I was, of course, taking the kids during summer break when it was 99 to 100 degrees outside. So when you went into something cool like that, it felt even colder. But girl, you should have saw us when we got to the caverns and we all suiting up to go into the... We were looking like Eskimos going in there. We weren't playing, okay? I got cold in there my first time I went. I said, this will never happen again. I had a little jacket or something with some shorts on or something. It was freezing in there. Not anymore. I dress when I go up in there. I don't care what you say about me. And MASH was funny too. I didn't watch MASH a lot. I got like various episodes too. Good night, Francis. And I don't know what Dark Shadows is. I have to look at that. Talk about things don't last. Up until 8 years ago, the washer we had was 25 years old. You got that right. I bought a washer 8 years ago, and now I have to buy a new one. Check said the bearings are worn out. I'm like, really? Yes. And they making that on purpose. Like, they're not even giving you warranties. Like, refrigerators are only been made to last 4 and 5 years. That's ridiculous how much refrigerators cost nowadays. And that's the only thing. Refrigerators used to last 2 and 3 generations. Refrigerators were passed down, and we got to the point where we just threw refrigerators out because they were still the ones that iced, and we didn't want to be defrosting refrigerators. That's how long refrigerators last. They were always our second refrigerators in all our family home. Everybody had a second refrigerator that was passed down. But, you know, you can't get that type of stuff anymore. That's why I'm scared to replace my refrigerator now. I bought it in 1996, and the ice maker is not working. And I don't feel like I'm going to get parts because it's a Kenmore brand. It's Sears Kenmore brand. And, you know, they're no longer making those type of things. So I'm concerned about getting a new refrigerator. I'm like, everything works except for I can't get ice out of here. It'll make ice. I think I need a thermostat because then it would melt the ice and freeze the ice back up. But once I stopped messing with that, it didn't even affect our food anymore. So, yeah, because we weren't going in and out of it. Thanks, Tiffany. The quilting lady says, you never said bored around mama. She find you something to do. Right. And I didn't. That's why I was a book reader, because I'm like, I'm not sitting around her. She's going to have to call me. And Ray and I both did the same thing. And it would be times that we would be, only thing we heard was A, and we didn't know if she was talking about him or myself. And so I was like, you know what? We just took turns going when we didn't know, because neither one of us sat around her because of that. It's like, we're not going to do this if we've got to go be your personal nursemaid and you got other kids and you keep calling us because we're the one you see. We left. You got to call us. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I don't understand that. I went through 3 washers in 7 years, and I will never buy another Samsung appliance as long as I live. And Samsung was the one that I was going to get for a washing machine, and I had done the reviews, and people were saying how horrible they were, so I did not buy the Samsung washing machine. And I'm a true Samsung lover. I've had their electronic VCRs, DVDs, televisions, all kinds of stuff I've had. My phone is still Samsung, and I'm thinking I'm going to get a different phone carrier because Samsung, this S21 is a mess. My S9 was the best phone I ever had. I traded it in. I should have just kept my S9. But it wouldn't work. We changed carriers, and my S9 wouldn't work with the new carrier. So, yeah, I had to get a new phone. But this S21 is a mess. It freezes up. I have to hard boot it all the time. It's a mess. Yeah, Dorothy said her dishwasher was 40 years old. You won't be having this one for 40 years. I can tell you that. Bought me a brand new refrigerator, and it would not even get cold. Took 2 weeks to get another one. Ain't that terrible? That is terrible. Oh, that was a soap opera back in the 70s. See, I didn't watch soap operas back then. Kevin says, Miss T and I may have to look into the Illinois shop hop a little more. I thought we were supposed to be going somewhere else. I have to, Twilight Zone. I do remember Twilight Zone, and I used to watch Twilight Zone. And then the older I got, the more I realized that this stuff is crazy, and I'm trying to go to bed right after I watch this stuff. So I had to stop watching Twilight Zone. It was one of the series about normal looking people, and then they all turned out, the family that moved in turned out to be robots or something. And I was like, you know what? I can't deal with this. Oh my God. I used to watch Twilight Zone. Okay, Liz, she says there's a company that replaces parts for Kenmore. I will get you that information. That's good. Because if I can get my ice maker to work and get a thermostat put in, I'd be in. That's when we unhooked it, when it was leaking water. It was because the ice maker, it's the cord inside and all of that, it all needs to be replaced. But yeah, we took it off the water line, but the water line is still there. We just blocked it. New refrigerators only have a 1-year warranty. What does that tell you? Now that's ridiculous. Electronics are fine for Samsungs, but the appliances are horrible. Tales from the Crypt. Yep, that was Tales from the Crypt. I thought Tales from the Crypt was the one that had like 4 different little small short stories in it. And one of them was the Blob, if I'm not mistaken. I had the exploding washer. I had 2 front load washers that leaked all over the place, and the dryer broke and kept breaking down every time we fixed it. Oh my God. My gas stove is 31 years old, and I don't plan on replacing it. And that's where I'm at too. My refrigerator and my stove, not quite 30, but they getting there. Another 4 years, they're 26 years old, and I don't phantom. I go and look at them all the time, and I go, ooh, I love to have another refrigerator and all of that. But it's like, when I hear these people talking about how long they're lasting, I'm like, nope. And the people that have bought new refrigerators and have them replaced were 2 adults living in a house. Wasn't like they had kids playing with the ice makers and all of that kind of stuff. And then I only had, my one child living here. My stepdaughter came every other weekend, but they weren't hard on our appliances. So, I don't want to play with these people. I have a Note 10. Every time I go into Sam's, they try to tell me to upgrade my phone. That's funny. Can't get a refrigerator around here for 6 weeks due to all the contractors buying them by the trailer loads from Lowe's and Home Depot. It's a mess. Yeah, and I think people are over purchasing on that type of stuff now, because when you're doing new builds, which still a lot of that stuff is going on, which is crazy to me how much new builds is going on, and rehabs. And then they stuck when they can't get the appliances, so they're like warehousing stuff themselves now. They used to have a just-in-time order process, but that's changed now. I have a Kenmore gas stove I purchased in 1998. My daughter has replaced her stove twice. Yep. I worked for Whirlpool, bought a new stove. 1 year later, oven quit. I would never buy another Whirlpool stove for sure. Wow. It's just nothing is being made the same. Nothing is being made the same. A year warranty is very deceiving. With only 1 year? Yeah, because they know it ain't no good. Jason says, I'm seeing when I have a new LG fridge that the repairman told me I should just buy a new unit. Ain't that something? My sewing machines I piece with is 31 years old, Kenmore, and it's a workhorse. Yep, I still got my first sewing machine, which is a Kenmore. It's in my garage. I don't sew on it. The only thing that's wrong with it is that the reverse button broke, and I could never get it fixed after Sears closed, because nobody could get parts to that. Old stuff like that. Like sewing machines were not a priority. But the reverse lever broke, and I think it broke under my daughter. I gave it to my daughter to use, and I think it just might have got caught on something and got pulled or something. But yeah, that's what's wrong with it. So it's in the garage because every once in a while I need to back stitch. I can't even remember the brand on my washer and dryer. Ain't that crazy? I can't even remember what brand I ended up getting, but I got old school. I got the, the one with the thing in the middle, because I found out when I had to rebuy a washing machine eventually, I found out they didn't even have the thing in the middle anymore. And then a couple more years later, they said they came out where they were stackables. And so you put them into the thing, but they weren't cleaning like the ones would at the laundromat. So people were saying their clothes weren't getting clean. I mean, I read reviews and I take them to my husband because I want to make sure he don't accidentally go out and buy something without consulting me. But yeah, certain things like that, you need to do your homework, because it's one of those things that once it gets into your house and get hooked up, if you have a basement, it's in the far part of your basement. I don't know why they do that. To me, they should have all that stuff when you get down to the basement right away, not all the way around on the other side, But that's how it is. And then it's hard to get stuff like that back out once it's in, so. And Darcy says her stove and oven her stove is over 50 years old. They are all pink. That's funny. My mom had all like teal, I think it was teal color cabinets and stove, and the stove finally went out, and I didn't get her a stove. I ended up getting a refrigerator. I think she bought her own stove, but I had her kitchen repainted and new flooring put in once the stove went out. But yeah, so we're gonna get off of here. We're 10 minutes over. We just talking, ain't even talking about quilting anymore, okay? I saw on a Serger 301 or Bernina 1090, they don't make machines like this anymore. You're right. My Burnett Serger just bit the dust. I want to take it to the shop and see if somebody can fix it. And I had oiled it. I had never used it for like maybe 15 years, and I knew to oil it and all of that. And then I oiled it. It looked like it was going to sew. It sewed for about 3 minutes, and I was just trying to finish some edging on some covers for my big board so I wouldn't get my big board dirty. And that thing stopped, and it won't do a thing. It's got something to do with the rubber. I'm blocking what you call it. That's on the flywheel. Because I took it apart, of course. Because that's what I do. I take stuff back in pieces. Let them know I've been in there already. But yeah. Yeah, Do Yoda says, I bought the new energy efficient Maytag wash machine that takes over an hour to wash one load, allows, and it has no dispenser for fabric softener either. Yeah, and I do have a machine that I feel like it takes longer to wash a load of clothes too. I told my husband that when we first got it. So now I just put the stuff in there, and I don't even worry about them clothes. I'll go back and get it at some point. Green and brown appliances, yes. But we're going to go ahead and get off of here, guys. You all, thank you so much for coming in here, especially since we're not even on quilting topic. I like how we talk about all this various different stuff that we talk about. I want to cut this back on so I can, I want to cut this light off. I keep hitting it and then hitting it again on the return. But I want to, I'm going to clean this machine. So I'm going to take this thread off of here. This will remind me to clean it when I come back from making all this, sewing on all this heavy duty stuff. I didn't even take the time to clip all this mess. Yes. So I got to do a lot of pressing by next Saturday, because I don't know if I'm going to get any sewing done. So we'll see. But good night, everybody. You all take care. You all stay blessed. Be safe. And quilt out, everybody. See you Wednesday.